So let's cheer on Travis Grant, first place, SUP Unlimited Division.
All right, so we're with Travis Grant, winner of today's Cline Mann and kind of everything else, right?
No.
Huh?
No, I just enjoy competing, enjoy racing. How can you not enjoy racing living in Hawaii, or racing in Hawaii? I used to always just want to come to Hawaii just to race, no matter what the race was, because it's always going to be fun or beautiful or exciting, or the oceans are life here, you know. Every event they hold here is just there's something special or unique about it, so I just enjoy the fun of competition here in Hawaii. There's nothing better.
What was the conditions like?
So this year's Cline Mann, it was actually really good timing. I mean, it's 3 weeks from Molokai, so it's a really good training run to do. And just by chance, I mean, this summer's been windy every day. So if you're a paddler, it's like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? If you're a surfer, it's still windy. It's been fantastic summer for training for wind here. It's just a great race that Outrigger put on, the Cline Mann. I think it's the Cline Mann Memorial race. Yeah. So it's just a Hawaii Kai run for the stand-ups, and the prones go from Makapu, which is twice as long.
You've done this race multiple times, right?
Yeah, I've only done it now 3 times. I've done this race 3 times, and the last 2 years have been kind of flat actually. This is the first year the wind was up and we had good bumps. So bad tide but good bumps, so the bumps get even more fun. So it was kind of slow, but it was such fun surfing. A lot of surfing, you know.
So what's the strategy for this kind of a run?
Do you know what's funny is Hawaii Kai runs. So people who live here, I mean, it's you do the run every time it's windy. It's like an after work run. Quick 8 miles and you go for the run. So it's literally that now. Like 8 miles has now become, it's kind of weird, a quick race. It's like 8 miles. It's easy. I can do it.
Almost like a sprint.
Yeah, it's nearly a sprint. You don't even need to prepare for it anymore. I remember back in the day, 8 miles or 12 kilometers straight, it was a big deal. I mean, and it still is a big race, but for some reason, the older you get, or the more you paddle, it becomes just like I said, it's almost a sprint, a controlled sprint. When it's bumps, because you bump, rest, surf, rest, surf, rest, surf. So it's a fantastic course, but I've done other 8 mile races where there's been flat or a current, and it's a torture test. It's a marathon.
So on this, you're not really resting then.
You are. You're doing. I'm going to say the race is basically an interval race. You sort of catch it, like sprint for a bump, and then this is the trick of surfing: is who's the most efficient surfer, who can catch the most bumps but spend the least amount of energy. Because then when towards the end or the going gets tough, you've got somewhere to go. You've got energy reserve, so basically it's like sprint, surf, sprint, surf. So it's kind of like an interval training run that's super fun.
So when you're doing an interval training run, like how often are you paddling and how often are you resting?
People ask that a lot, like how do you train, and interval training is a fantastic way of training, and then everyone's like, oh, what's your interval training? And to tell you the truth, I don't think it really matters. I mean, it doesn't matter if the intervals are long or short. So obviously out in a race like this, you're kind of doing a short sprint and a short rest. But in training, you'll normally do a little bit longer sprint.
What is short? Like what is?
Well, sprinting can be anything from 5 seconds to 10 seconds out. And then when you're training, you can be anywhere from 10 seconds to a minute as an interval. And then there's other times where you'll link bump, so you literally are sprint, and you might be 20 seconds you're sprinting for, and then enjoy the ride and you try and rest, get your heart rate down. So when I say interval training, like I said, there's no magic number for interval. It's just the fact of finding speed as quick as you can, and then trying to recover as quick as you can. That's the whole. When I go out the train, that's the whole idea of interval sessions is to find a burst of speed, and then try and keep speed, but bring your heart rate back down. And that's what I call interval training. So you make it up, mix it up, and today was basically an interval training session. It was a race that was super fun.
And then how often are you doing interval training during the week?
Training questions for me is I'm probably the laziest trainer there is. I do interval sessions a lot because of the style of racing I do, which is out in the ocean. You know, if you live in a flat water, then the interval training session is a good speed tool, but that's sort of not what you're after. If you live in Hawaii and you're doing races like Molokai and downwind races, then intervals are a huge part. I do most of my training. Most of my training is solely interval training for bump style conditions. Yeah.
I mean, you're training like 4 times a week, or?
Yeah, probably that. I try to do that 4 times a week. Yeah, yeah. Tuesday, Thursday. I try and double up Tuesdays and double up Thursdays, and then do a run on the weekend. So it makes it 5. So yeah, 5 times a week if you can.
So you're doing 2 a days. That's what you prefer?
I don't prefer, but it's just something I've sort of done growing up my whole life. I've always sort of done a Tuesday. I'll double up on the one day and then rest. You know, I don't know if it's the right way or the correct way, but I seem to fatigue myself and then recover, That's, you know, an ideal world, but you know, we're coaching some of the juniors and working and just life and trying to renovate, and it's now I'm just sort of like, oh, it's windy, okay, go for a run. You know, oh, I feel kind of tired, so I'm sort of out of my routine a little bit at the moment, but that's life. I mean, you just got to. You know, life's a balance. You just got to deal with everything you get thrown at and work out how to make it work for you.
Didn't you just have a baby?
No, on the way.
Oh, okay.
In the oven.
Oh, so how are you going to do it when you have a baby?
Yeah,
You're going to be tired, man.
That's where routine comes. That's where I am going to have to set a schedule. And I do, like, I am a routine person. Like I said, I've always done doubles Tuesday, Thursday growing up my whole life. So I try and keep that routine because I think it works for me, or I think it works for me. And so that's what you got to do. People are always asking training questions, and I was like, you know what? Like, there is no holy grail or secret answer. You just got to figure out what you can fit into your schedule that's not going to really kill you, and then learn to make that time you have work for you with the style of racing you're going to be doing. So, you know, there's a lot to learn. I've been doing it for a long while now. So, you know, training, I still enjoy training. You know, if I don't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. So I love racing. I love training because I do it in small doses. But I do it in you know, when I do it properly for, you know, 1 hour sessions, or like all you need really. You know what I mean? Focus for an hour, come back, and go to work. So, yeah.
Are you training differently in a canoe than you train on the stand-up?
It's a good question. I do very similar sessions. If you're with groups of people, obviously sometimes I might dictate the session. No, I try to do that in conditions too. I mean, a lot of times I'll have, you know, sort of written down what I was going to do, and I get here and it's really windy, and I go, well, I'm not going to do that now, I might do a downwind run instead. Or if it's really flat, I'm like, you know, it's a really flat day, I might work on this style of speed work. So I'm very flexible. I sort of have an idea of what I'm going to do and then just work around the conditions, which, you know, Hawaii is like either other places. You can't just, whatever the program says you have to do, I think you've got to be more flexible. But no, I do the same training in the stand-up as I do the one-man, mostly. Some of the one-man races are a little bit longer. So, yeah, that's a good question.
So like your training session, what does that consist of normally? Like
1 hour. A 1 hour interval session.
How do the intervals break down?
Well, like I said, it's
just different.
I mean, there is no set number of intervals. It's just that style of training, and then
until you're tired, kind of thing, or
no, just sort of. How do we do it? So actually Mick DeBetta runs the program, and so I sort of take his program, and then, like I said, depend on the conditions on the day, you know, sort of adjust to suit, you know, what's going on. But it's interval style. Basically, it's up and down, just like a race. You know, you sprint, and then you got to maintain, and you sprint, maintain. So that's the style I've always trained in Australia. You know, some people might not like it. Other people it really, you know, sits well with, and it sits well with me. And it's that every morning, afternoon, I change it on the spot depending how I feel, and you know, away I go.
And then you're trying the new stroke now.
Yeah.
Right?
So Johnny's come back from Tahiti, and I'm going to say he's figured it out. I remember a few years ago when Tahiti started winning, and I'm just like, someone from Tahiti figured out how to paddle and shared it with his buddies, and they started a team. And that's sort of how it happened. And we just could, as much as we watched the video, we could never figure it out. And you know, been looking at it for a long time. This is more for canoe. And then Johnny, we've all been trying to figure it out. And then Johnny came back one day and he sat down and told us how he thought it was working. And I think he's figured it out. He spent time there and it just clicked, and he's sharing it now with a lot of people in Hawaii, and I'm lucky to be one of them. And yeah, for someone that's been watching the Tahitians for so many years, it just all of a sudden clicked, you know what I mean? If you teach this to someone who's never paddled or is new to paddling, it necessarily is not going to be new to them, it's just going to be paddling. So we've sort of been paddling the Hawaiian way, which is clearly a very good way of paddling, it's very efficient. And they've just got their own style, their own rhythm.
What, in your words, what would be the difference between kind of what you were taught initially and then what the new style
The
is?
rhythm's different. It's definitely a different rhythm. It's like dancing. There's a lot of, it's sort of a different way of dancing in the canoe. So their rhythm is one thing that's different. And then they're actually recruiting, that's, to me, I found the biggest difference for me, and that's what I've had to try and adjust to, or want to try to adjust to. And then, yeah, they actually recruit more muscles each stroke as opposed to just half of the body with a big twist. And Australia's predominantly from a ski paddling, demographic, so a lot of our paddling is twisting, rotating and ski, so you just transfer the canoe, and that seemed to be the way we all thought, and the way Hawaii was twisting and California was twisting, and Tahiti are basically just more straight up and down. I mean, Johnny explains it a lot better, and they're recruiting their whole body each stroke as opposed to sort of twisting and rotating around, and like I said, they both work fantastic. Just for the moment, in the canoe, the Tahitians clearly have a more efficient or a better rhythmic way, and so we're trying to learn that, and I think there's a huge merit, and I've focused a lot this year on that technique in my one man, and now I'm trying to transfer it to stand up, and it's a little harder actually because we're not sitting down, there's a lot more going on. So to tell you the truth, I remember talking to some friends of mine in Tahiti, and they have a few different style strokes. Like we're learning one way, but when they're paddling these long races, they don't just do the same thing, for 5 hours. They actually mix it up a little bit, and so I've started doing that a lot in my one man and stand up. I'll go to my twisting old stroke, and then I'll jump to the Tahitian stroke. And I like to mix it up during the race now. So I sort of have two strokes, and I find it's a fantastic way because if you get a little tired, you can kind of recruit a few different muscles that is still a very efficient way of working. And then when you want to attack, you can recruit other muscles. So that's how I've sort of started paddling a bit more, and I think it's serving me well.
Is it primarily 2 strokes that you're mixing it up with then, or is it like 4 or so on?
Well, I mean, when you get tired, you definitely paddle differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I like to mix it up. No, I mean, in my head, I feel like I'm doing 2 different things. People who know me might watch me, and it looks the same to them. You know what I mean? But to me, internally, it feels different, which is what counts. Because I'm the one that's outputting.
Like, when are you going to switch? When are you going to use the Tahitian-style stroke, and when would you switch back to your twisting stroke?
Oh, I mean, like during a downwind race, I'll do it. I could do it every minute, every couple of seconds, or I could go. Depends. Like Tahitians, very attack. They sort of attack and jump the canoe. Where Australia Hawaii is still attacking, but it seemed to be a little more, I guess you say, twisting. So I'll attack, and then when I'm trying to rest, I might actually go back and just twist a little and just breathe. And then I might attack, jump, and twist.
So the Tahitian stroke you're using when you're trying to attack it, and then you go back to kind of your
at the moment, that's sort of how I'm, that's how I'm playing with things. And then I might, again, just to give myself a rest a little bit. So I'm just playing with, like I said, I'm 33 now, and I'm experimenting more with my stroke than I ever have been. You know what I mean? And we're actually coaching some juniors, and I do clinics, and I actually now show people my 2 different ways of paddling. And when you're showing them, it's face to face. It's very shows a difference. But when you show them on the water, they're like, oh, it doesn't look that different to me. But to me, I feel like I'm recruiting a major different muscle group. So it's kind of looks fantastic. You've sort of got whole another gear. I mean, your heart rate never changes, but you don't fatigue your muscles as easily. It's good to have different strokes, different conditions, and I think that's where everyone should have a repertoire of strokes to use for different conditions, different scenarios. It's basically a set of skills. You're broadening your set of skills.
Did your Tahitian friends tell you like when they actually switched their strokes up and what they switched to?
So obviously Tahiti's been #1 in canoe paddling for a long time now, nearly 10 years I think, and in stand up not yet. And I'm sort of curious, and the problem with Tahitian people is the translation. There's a lot less in translation. Like you can't. you know, it's hard to teach someone how to dance. You know, it's just feeling and rhythm, and you got to watch a dancer to figure it out. And that was the best way they explained to me is some of them treat it as a dance. It's this rhythm, and then you know you got to watch their rhythm, and then they can try and explain their rhythm to you. And that's sort of where it happens. So they just said their rhythm's different.
So the rhythm is like the same as a cadence, like the speed, or you're talking about just trying to get the feel, like rhythm, like a feel.
No, I mean feel is one thing. Obviously, feel for the water can't be taught. It's like swimming. It's like dancing, and I learned by watching. You know what I mean? I watched someone, and then through the years you get hints of what they were doing. You can't just tell someone, "Oh, this is how I paddle," and do that. So, no, rhythm's a hard one. So it's like dancing. Like some people are just really good; they've got good rhythm. Some don't. And it's just one of those things. And no, there's just that rhythm. There's a lot of ways to do something, and so it's about finding these rhythmic ways to make the canoe work, because you're connected to it. So if you can make it look good, it's gonna feel good. You know what I mean? Like surfing, guys that make it look effortless are the best surfers, and that's sort of what I try to do when you're paddling. You try and make it look effortless. You try and feel as one. And people are like, oh, you weren't even trying, but you are trying. You're concentrating. You're mentally really trying. But yeah, you're trying to bring your heart rate down and make it look beautiful, basically. And Tahiti in the canoe do an amazing job on that. In the stand-up, I don't think their board skills are there yet. They didn't grow up on these boards. There are a lot of kids in Hawaii and Australia. We grew up on paddleboards and in out through waves. So we have that accidental skill set. They grew up in canoes, So when their board skills get better, watch out for Tahiti. In the meantime, if you want to learn how to paddle, I'd watch Tahiti and see if you can pick up on their rhythm, And I'm trying to translate that to stand-up. Like I said, it's harder than I expected. I think it's just more because of my old habits, old skills, old mentality. So and there's a lot going on in stand-up. There's a lot of board to control while standing up. And that's why the sport's so unique. Is it's a challenging, hard sport.
You prefer canoe or you prefer stand-up, or does it matter?
I like them both because I even like surf ski, I like swimming, I even like surfing. So no, I couldn't choose one over the other, and I don't like. I'm glad stand-up come along, because otherwise I probably would have maybe got a little bored of canoe. I might have got a little sick of it by now because it's the same thing over and over. But even though we're doing the same paddling and the same rhythm, it's two completely different craft, very different skill sets, even though it's the same thing. So. No, I honestly share my time equally between the two, and if surf's up, I'll definitely, my session will be a surfing session. We have a 6-man canoe, we have surf ski, and I think you should never leave out swimming. I mean, swimming is the first thing that I learned to do, and I still love to swim. Again, it's just feel for the water. I mean, a paddle to me is an extension of my hand, and it's the same extension. So it's just that. If you should be efficient on all watercraft, because it'll help. Each one is just feel for the water. So if you can make a paddleboard move, you can make a stand-up move. You should go make a ski move. People who are only good at one craft they're sort of forcing or muscling it. They should be good at all watercraft. That's sort of what I got taught when I was young, and I try and practice that still today.
So if we took your brain and stuck it into kind of a beginner's body, what would be the top 3 things you would do initially to get up to speed?
What we're doing now, because I am actually coaching, and in the 6-man, and I'm actually enjoying it, because I didn't realize, you started. Like
you didn't like it before.
No. Well, obviously you're so busy with your own paddling, it's very hard to train someone else, and I am having a hard time balancing that. But the reason I enjoy the coaching side of thing is, I never thought about how I paddle until someone asked me. They're like, "Oh, how come you're so good at paddling?" And I was like, that's a good question. And it wasn't until then, this is in the early days, that I started to maybe, like if someone asked you, oh, how do you walk? Like we all walk, but you'd have to really think about, oh, how do I walk? Do we teach someone? So it made me think more on my stroke. And ever since then, I was like, maybe I should. So I started trying things myself. And then I started asking questions, and then obviously, I was heavily in canoe, and I was looking at the similarities, and now with Johnny's, different way of technique, rhythm. I mean, we're still paddling. It looks the same to the naked eye. Like we look identical, but it's a different rhythm. We're recruiting different muscles. We're sort of doing different things with our body, even though it's still feel for the water, it's still grabbing. We're trying to do it efficiently as we can, as powerfully as we can. And so now coaching the juniors, I'm enjoying the fact is that we're not going to teach them bad habits, like of what we've learned. Like, okay, we're sort of just throwing them straight to the gravy. Like like let's just do this, trying to get into the good stuff. And it's unreal. I mean, their rhythm and technique's better than
So,
mine
like,
ever has been.
So like tangibly, what would be like the 3 things you would teach them like right off the bat?
I always technique. I think, you know, technique is the most important thing in any sport.
Like what part of the like what in the technique? Like
I mean, swimming is a good example. I mean, if, you know, don't go out there and get fit and strong. Like learn the technique. And fitness, I think, make anyone fit and strong. That's easy. Anyone can get fit and strong. It's learning the technique and that feel for the water. If you can get that feel for the water, which is very hard to teach, and you're getting fit and strong, I think it's easy. Anyone can do that if you wanted to. Technique, now that's hard to get. Efficiency is hard to get. When I say technique, I guess I mean efficiency. Efficiency in the water. So every stroke is as powerful and it basically moves you as far as you can, distance per stroke, with as minimal effort as required. That's technique. That's efficiency. That's number one.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please comment, give us a thumbs up, and see you next time.